Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulih al-kareem, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een, wa ba'd. Brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, as we approach the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, one of the most important things that you will be doing, inshallah, and that all of us as Muslims are encouraged to do is to do the Udhiyyah, which is the sacrificial animal that all of us are supposed to sacrifice, inshallah, and especially on the days or during the days of Eid. So, in relation to this, brothers and sisters, I wanted to say a few things, and I wanted to share a few points about the sacrifice of the animal. The first thing is that the animal is called an udhiyah. So what does that mean? Udhiyyah is an animal that is sacrificed on the days of Eid. And the reason it is known as Udhiyyah is because normally you begin the slaughtering at the time of Duha, which is after Fajr, and it is in the morning after the sun has risen. So normally that, after that you have already made your salah, and you start the slaughter at the time which is known as Duha, right after the sun rises and so on. So this is why it is known as the slaughtering at that time, which is known as Udhiyyah. Of course, the evidence for this comes directly from the Qur'an, and this is in the shortest surah in the Qur'an, wherein Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ. So make your salah to your Lord, and also make the slaughter for your Lord. This is in Surah Al-Kawthar. And of course, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there are many ahadith in which he pointed this out. And as a matter of fact, Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu an, one time he said that he saw the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He took two lambs, and he went ahead and he slaughtered two of these lambs. And of course, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself, he encouraged the Muslims to slaughter, and there are many hadith that talk about this issue. In addition to this, brothers and sisters, the issue comes up whether this is absolutely obligatory for us, or is this something recommended for us to do. The majority of the scholars, they say that the ruling on slaughtering this animal is what they call sunnah mu'akkada, which means that it is something that you're highly recommended to do. Some of this is the majority of the scholars, but in the Hanafi scholars, they say no, it's something that's obligatory, and Shaykh Uthaymeen, he himself also says it's something that is obligatory. But it seems that the most credible opinion is that it's something that's highly recommended, and we should definitely try to do it as our ibadah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, each family, all they have to do is to make sure that they slaughter at least one animal, and that suffices for the whole family. And of course, the wisdom for this, as you know, brothers and sisters, is first and foremost is when you slaughter the animal, is to draw closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to fulfill our sense of ibadah, of worship and servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, when we slaughter, we say Bismillahi Wallahu Akbar. We mention the name of Allah. So that it means here that you're reviving the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're exalting the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, also it is a sense of gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He brought you to this degree, so you're able to do this. Also, it is a great blessing for us to be able to conduct these actions to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not only this, but when it comes to the distribution of this, people talk about whether you should give a third here or a third there, or so on. Actually, there's no real authentic text that deals with this issue. And basically, some people say a third for yourself, a third for your relatives, and a third for outside. Basically, and some people say a half and a half, and basically you can choose any which way that you want to do it. There's no particular authentic text that talks about the distribution of the animal that you slaughter. So also, it is also okay to give that meat to non-Muslims as well. you can share with non-Muslims. If you're getting ready to slaughter the animal and you're taking it for the slaughter, and for some reason it gets hurt or is damaged in some way, it's okay to go ahead and slaughter that animal. If it happens during your ownership of that particular animal. In addition to this, brothers and sisters, there's a difference of opinion among some scholars, because some people, they try to borrow money to slaughter. And some of the scholars say, or as a matter of fact, quite a few scholars say it is okay to borrow money to do this, provided you're going to be able to pay the money soon afterwards, and to replace that money and to pay off that debt soon afterwards. Also, it is okay for you to do the sacrifice on behalf of somebody else. That is something that is totally okay. Also, it is okay to give it as a gift to somebody else, meaning that, for example, you purchase an animal and you give it to somebody else and then they can slaughter. This is something that is totally okay as well. Of course, you should try to make sure, those of you who are slaughtering the animal, that the animal is in its best condition, it is the best type of animal, and so on and so forth. And generally, you slaughter a sheep or a lamb or a goat, or you can slaughter a cow or a camel, and so on. When it comes to a cow, 7 people, or a camel, 7 people should participate in that, or 7 families should participate in that. When it comes to those people who are slaughtering, brothers and sisters, as you know, there's a hadith of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wherein he mentioned that those people who are actually going to be involved in the slaughtering, that they should not cut their hair, they should not clip their nails, and they should not take from their skin or anything of that nature. However, outside of that, like the rest of the family and so on, it is okay for them to cut their hair during the first 10 days of the Hijjah, and all the way up to the Eid, or to cut their nails and so on and so forth. In addition to this, brothers and sisters, it is something that is totally okay to give to another organization who can perform the sacrifice or distribute on your behalf. It is not okay to sell this unless you're poor. Unless a person is poor, then the meat that they get, then they can go ahead and sell it to make money and to take care of their other bills and so on and so forth. Also, of course, it is okay to give this meat in a sadaqah as you would like. One of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he would slaughter, he would say that Bismillah, Wallahu Akbar, Allahumma taqabbal min Muhammad wa min ali Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa min ummati Muhammad. Allahumma taqabbal min Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa min ummati Muhammad, which means, in the name of Allah, Allah is the greatest, and O Allah, accept this from Muhammad and from the family of Muhammad, and also from the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Brothers and sisters, some people sometimes ask the question, well, I have an aqiqah to do at the same time, so can I just do just one and it'll count for both? Actually, when it comes to the aqiqah, it is possible to do it at the same time. That in other words, one can count for both. But when it comes to a vow that you may have made, what we call in the Sharia nadhr, if you made that vow to slaughter an animal, then those two things, they don't go together. You have to do that one separately, and you have to do the udhiyyah separately. Sometimes you have people who are living in your family, and the question comes up, well, do I have to do a separate animal for them as versus my own family? No, if they're living with you and you're supporting them, they eat and they're living with you totally, it's okay. That one animal, that one sheep or that one lamb or that one goat counts for everybody in the family. Sometimes there are some people who may have more than one wife. And people may ask, okay, well, do I have to slaughter a separate animal for my second wife or third wife and so on? No, just that one animal suffices for everyone. Sometimes you might have extended members of the family, like your son's children or your daughter's children and so on, or cousins and so on. And if they're living with you, then again, the same rule applies, that one animal suffices for everyone. Also, we must remember, brothers and sisters, that sometimes you may have, like say, your brothers who may be living with the father, and so on. Now, if the brothers are independent and they can make their own money and they're earning independently, then they should do their own animal. But if they're kind of dependent on the head of the household, then that one animal suffices for everyone. How about your children? Some people ask about your children who are married and they're living with you. Well, if they cannot support themselves, then that one animal suffices for everyone. But if they can support themselves and they're just living there and they're paying rent or they're helping out with the family, then they should take care of their own animals as well. Brothers and sisters, there are some scholars, believe it or not, who say that if you leave your salah, if a person leaves their salah and if they sacrifice an animal, then their sacrifice is not accepted. So this just underscores the importance of making the salah. So again, while this is not a majority opinion, there are quite a few scholars who say this, that not only are you not allowed to accept their meat, but you're not allowed to even eat their meat. It is to that degree. So it's a pretty serious thing of making sure that you make your salah on time. Not only that, brothers and sisters, you have the issue of sometimes when you do it on behalf of other people. In that case, you say, Allahumma, like Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, تقبل من محمد ومن وآل Muhammad. So you can say, Allahumma taqabbal هذا عني وعن أهلي. هذا عني وعن أهلي. This is for me and on behalf of my family. Sometimes if you have deceased relatives, you can even do it on their behalf. Like you can say, Allahumma هذا عني وعن وعن أهلي الأحياء والأموات. Oh Allah, this is for me and this is and on behalf of my relatives, those who are alive and those who are dead. So brothers and sisters, inshallah, I hope that each one of us will revive this sunnah of the Prophet. It is a forgotten sunnah. Many people kind of forget about this sunnah, but it is something that is really, really important, and we encourage you, inshallah, to have a beautiful Eid, and we encourage you to slaughter the animal that after the Salat al-Eid that you go and you slaughter. And inshallah, get your children to participate so they also begin to learn how to do this. Take them to the farm and take them to the slaughtering place and show them that this is the tradition of prophets, salawatullahi alayhim, of the past. Again, brothers and sisters, we wish you a very happy Eid, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your deeds, and may He make you successful in this life and the hereafter. Jazakumullahu khairan for listening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.